Heroes and Legends, End Times, Star A Falls. Return to Planet Royal in the Royal Galaxy. Susan's condition deteriorated and gotten worse. Wilson now led now led the Royals, and Krishna Royal was second in command. Susan, for her last act, wanted to make a great difference in the universe, although she would not live much longer to see it. So she had spies around the universe, hunting down for a great and noble warrior that would fight for her for one last mission. This warrior she found was Omega of the Nuwa. Omega was skilled in many forms of fighting and was a quick learner when given a new weapon. He was perfect. She summoned Omega to her castle since the Roars and the Nova were not fighting. And so Omega went to Susan and asked what she hired him for, as awarded him a great bounty of gold and silver and gems. Susan explained as she lifted up a chest and showed a weapon at him. Omega catched it with one arm and said, "This is." It was an infinite spear, the same infinite spear that perfection once held eons ago, or during the Great War. Omega was shocked. How in the world did she got this weapon? And then Susan explained, the royals are rich, and Susan herself had a pet project to wield this weapon and to forge a weapon. Have her men forge the weapon so she could find someone to wield it when the time was right. But however, her days were being numbered and time was running out. So she wanted to make a dent. And so Susan decided, as she exclaimed, Star A, the raw advantage, the so-called strongest woman in the universe, is nothing but taking up space. Her time and usefulness are long overdue. I want you to end them. At least, she coughing. At least then, I will have made a dent, an impact in this war. Go. I'll give you a ship, a finest ship, cloaking devices, so the enemy's defenses will not detect you. Go to the main capital planet where she is. Kill her. Or bring her head back to me as proof, and then you will receive the rest of your payment. And this weapon, more than likely it will be destroyed. Once you fight her, I don't expect her to go down easily. Are you up to the challenge, Omega? And he said, yes, my lady. And so she sent him off. As stated, the golden slick ship of the Royals was the best in technology left over during the time when the Tectoran occupied the background. And so he sailed the ship straight into the Row Advantage Galaxy and straight to the home world of Star A. Star A was alone in a castle, and he landed the ship just a block or two away from our private home. Then he had the spear in his back and snuck into the house. Star A was meditating while she heard a disturbance. She answered, "Who's that?" And she picked up herself and armed herself, ready to fight. And then Omega busted in and said, "You're Star A." And Star was like, "Yes? Who are you?" "I'm Omega of the Nova. And with this spear, granted by me, by my employer, you will die." Star was stunned. The Nova have no dealings or business attacking them and his employer. It couldn't be the Nova. An infinite spear? How? What? Could the Prince of Darkness still be alive? Or Cyrus? Her mind raced in puzzlement, but before she could figure it out, Omega went for the attack. She blocked him with her hands as she fought with her fists and her legs and her feet and her head and her power. The two were fighting tremendously against all odds. As they fought, flames sparked from the heat of the battle and from the spear. Soon her house was on fire. Star A used her might and transformed to full power, the power when she had to destroy Cyrus, and she used it. Omega used his skills in swordplay to beat Star 8 for hit while the house was burning. Word got out, and then her grandfather, Dr. Ivo, arrived and wondered what was going on. His granddaughter was in danger. And so Dr. Ivo went in the house and tried to figure out what was going on. Star 8 sends her grandfather inside and tell, "Run, get out of here. There's an enemy with us. Please escape." Dr. Ivo didn't want to leave his granddaughter behind, and went to confront Omega, who quickly rolled up behind Dr. Ivo and slashed on the back, killing him instantly in front of his granddaughter. And he said, "My child, today we go back to paradise." And with that he died, destined to return back to the heavens, because their time was long overdue. Star 8, filled with anger and rage, went on to fight Omega even more. Omega then twirled the weapon around, creating a vortex, spin all the fire in the flames in the house directly at her, and blast her away. With that, the house was crashing down. Omega then escaped from the house, and then Star 8, a little burned and bruised, got up out of the rubble to fight again. And then Omega launched all his strength and force within his spirit onto throwing the infinite spear and throwing it straight at Star 8 while the guard was down. It hit directly in the middle of her chest. She tried to hold the weapon back, but most of the sharp edge had damaged her internal organs. She gasped out tons of blood out of her mouth and nose, collapsed, and died. The leaders of the Royal Advantage were slain, and as expected, the Infinity Spear broke into pieces, could not withstand the power in which the fight was. So Omega quickly went to take Star A's head. As expected, went back to his ship and escaped before Tim and the Royal Advantage officers could arrive, which was mostly consisted of Kichiro and other officers. Tim was stunned, didn't know what happened or who was responsible. With this, the Royal Advantage were now vulnerable, and hungry insurance powers would soon take the opportunity to take down this vulnerable galaxy. Omega, found up time and ran back to Royal and delivered Star A's head to Susan, who leaped for joy, and awarded Omega heavenly with the last of her wealth. Omega went back to Noah, more richer than even his Noah lords, and he used it to buy up military provisions and support for the forces and to help the poor and the environment of their galaxy. As war's end, Susan died on her deathbed with a smile on her face, knowing that in the end, she was responsible for taking down the newly earned strongest woman in the universe. And when she passed, just months later, Akira Wilson, the naval officer and bodyguard who stood by Susan's side since the days of King Jack Royal, also passed away. And so the leadership of the old guard of the royals, since the days of Anjosika and the Great War, were all gone. And all that were left was Kursna Royal and the other royals that had come during this time, during the last ending of the time disruption. And so Royal was now under new leadership and began to reestablish themselves in a new era.